And so I'll go ahead and introduce our two speakers for today. Our first speaker is Bahram Faraji, and Bahram is at the School of Community Health and Policy at Morgan State University. Dr. Faraji is an associate professor in Baltimore, Maryland at the Morgan State University. He is going to be discussing a recent study that he conducted in his lab that aimed to explore the relationship between plasma total carotenoid concentrations, dietary carotenoids, fruit and vegetable intake, and Veggie meter scores. The second objective he'll be talking about is the relationship between plasma total carotenoid concentration and Veggie meter scores independent of skin tone. So there's been a lot of questions about, does the Veggie meter work in diverse populations? How does it account for different skin colors? And so Dr. Faraji will answer some of our questions.
Okay, thank you.
Controls are yours. Go for it.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen with you. Ended up at the very end. Okay, hello everybody. Good afternoon in the East Coast. Good morning in the West Coast, and I don't know where else you said somebody in Japan also, yes. But can you hear me? Am I on?
Sounds great.
Okay. Yeah, I like to thank I appreciate the opportunity to present my research here, and thank everybody. Special thanks goes to Rachel and Virginia, who keep this forum going all the time, and it is appreciated. So this is my title is actually this is my abstract, but I had my title. This is okay. Let me go over. I'm not going to go over the abstract. I just included this to be, if anybody is interested. But basically, the background is that at the time, at least, we did this in 2019 actually, and we were slowed a little bit for the COVID and all that. But at the time, there were not that many studies using this skin carotenoid measurement by reflection spectroscopy, as a biomarker for fruit and vegetable intake. So we decided, to work on that, and I work at the HBCU, Morgan State University. So we had a lot of minority population there, of course. And so we decided to look at the relationship between skin tone, actually is right here. The aim was to study the relationship between skin carotenoids measured by RS scores, plasma carotenoids, dietary carotenoids, and fruit and vegetable intake in African American and Black college students. And at the same time explore the effect of skin tone on RS score, on reflection spectroscopy score. So of course the IRB approved the study, and all participants were provided with a written informed consent. 100 African American Black students at this HBCU were participated in this study. Excuse me. And so RS scores, of course, were measured by Veggie meter. We also measured plasma carotenoids by high performance liquid chromatography. That was done at USDA ARS. Grand Forks, North Dakota. And at the time when we started, or even before that, I had a collaborator who worked at this USDA ARS center, and she helped us a lot. She actually helped us get started, and she hooked me up with the chemist, to do these carotenoid analysis, and they did it for free for us, which was great. So and then we also measured dietary carotenoids and fruit and vegetable intake. And for this also, I got a carotenoid screener from our collaborator at USDA. And this is very similar to a food frequency questionnaire. And so there were 44 items, I think, on the list. And originally it was web-based, but we used the paper and pencil form of it. So these 44 items which contained carotenoids, the participants were asked to show if they ate any of these over the last week and how much was it. So and then we send these back again to USDA for estimating the carotenoid intake and also fruit and vegetable intake. So they helped us a lot, and that is appreciated. And so for skin tone, which was one of our interests, was this we measured it with the, I need to keep track of time, not to go over my time. But anyway, we used this skin swatch, which is something like cards, color cards, except that they are long and thin, and they are hooked. They are closed at one end. They are all stapled together, that you can open it easily and check the colors. And there is a hole in the middle of the card, in the middle of the color part, where you can match it with the skin and try to find the best color that matches. And it's a scale of 1 to 15. It is somewhat subjective, of course. And so 1 being the lightest and 15 being the darkest. And so this is a color matching system that we used for skin tone measurement, for skin tone matching. And now, we did multiple linear regression. We did multiple linear regression analysis, which was, so the way I understand from this multiple linear regression is that if you are interested in a correlation between RS and plasma carotenoids, for example, if there are other factors that can affect it, it basically tells you, what else is affecting this correlation. So basically and of course our interest was the skin tone at the fingertip and inner arm, BMI, and also percent body fat on the correlation between RS and total plasma carotenoid levels. Let me just go over this. Okay, this is the statistical analysis, of course, is a mean standard deviation t-test, and that multiple linear regression again is mentioned here. But this is our first table here, which shows the characteristics of the participants, including their age, height, weight, body mass index. There were some who were considered obese because of BMI over 30, like 12 out of 68 among females. We had 2/3 females and 1/3 male out of the 100. And then we measured percent body fat with the Tanita machine, and this is the Pantone skin finger here. we read this skin tone on tip of the finger, which is that you stick it into the Veggie meter, and then my friend at USDA said we measure it on the inner arm. So in the middle of the study, we started to also measure the middle arm. I mean inner arm, and you see, so the number of inner arm is a little less than skin in the finger, and and you see that, and I've noticed that inside the arm, especially the palm of the hand, and in the inside part of the fingers are always lighter than other parts of the body, and that is shown here also. The inner arm was 10.2 versus 7.6 on finger, and the same was with nails. Okay, RS. So these were the RS score measured by Veggie meter. Total plasma carotenoids. This is the total carotenoids, and total carotenoid intake micrograms per day, male and female, and then total fruit and vegetable in servings per day. So so these were some of, and there's more characteristics of them in terms of their class, like their freshman, sophomore, and so on. Only one graduate, and current or past conditions. These are based on their self-reporting. Asthma, anemia, diabetes, and so on were mentioned here. Medication taken mostly was birth control, and taking vitamin mineral supplements, as well as other supplements like air balls and so on. And if there were any vegetarians, we had 6 vegans and a lacto-vegetarian among the 100. So the results that we got was that skin carotenoid levels indicated by RS score were correlated with total plasma carotenoids. And so the R was 0.595 and P is less than 0.01. And this is when we controlled for skin tone. And so I have an N of 98 here. One person, we could not draw blood, and then there was another one who was outlier, and we took it out, following that outlier procedure. So this was the correlation between plasma carotenoids and RS score. And more results were, these RS scores were also correlated. See, there was this is like a need. There was somewhere we defined the correlation. Interpretation of correlation coefficients was considered weak if it is 0 to 0.49, moderate if it's 0.5 to 0.69, or strong 0.70 plus. So that is how. So this is a moderate correlation basically, and then. These ones are weak, obviously. RS scores were, however, they were significant. RS scores were correlated with total carotenoid intake, which were measured by FFQ, and also total fruit and vegetable intake per day. And this was also significant. Again, this was controlled for skin tone. And there was a correlation between total plasma carotenoid levels and total fruit and vegetable intake. And so this is here we try to correlate individual carotenoids like beta carotene, alpha carotene,